Hello dear viewers, you're watching RTD's English News Edition. Here are our top stories for this evening. This morning at the Peltier Hospital, a large-scale ophthalmological operations. The bodies of the 39 victims were repatriated to Vietnam. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. An important ceremony for the donation of materials and foodstuffs took place today in Demirjuk. The ceremony, which saw the participation of the population of this sub-prefecture, took place in the presence of the Minister of the Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Mona Osman Aden, the Prefect of the Arta region, Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, the President of the Regional Council, the Executive Secretary of the Honors, Mr. Hassan Dirar, the Japanese Ambassador in Djibouti, Koshi Yonitani. This donation consisted of food, tents, kitchen utensils, and many more. This action is part of the aid and assistance operations for the victims of the last rainfalls. In an intervention, the technical advisor of the Ministry of Social Affairs during this occasion thanked the Japanese government for this donation that will relieve the affected population after the last torrential rains. And for his part, the prefect of the region, on behalf of the people of Demirjuk district, thanked the Japanese government for providing humanitarian assistance to the victims. As part of the Djibouti-China Health Cooperation, a medical team from the APL support base in China Republic of Djibouti conducted specialized consultations in the field of ophthalmology at the Peltier General Hospital. This medical mission is composed of several Chinese ophthalmologist experts who will perform free of charge cataract surgeries with national specialties from December 1st to 25, 2019 in the ophthalmology department of the Peltier General Hospital. The medical team of the China APL support base was welcomed upon their arrival by the advisor of the Minister of Health, Mr. Abdul Qadir Mohammed Garrat, and the Director General of the Peltier Hospital, Mr. Hussein Mohammed Hussein. Through this mission, the government of the Republic of China is providing technical support to the Republic of Djibouti by sending ophthalmologist experts to perform 100 operations during this caravan using state-of-the-art cataract surgery equipment. Mobile teams from the Arta region and Wea healthcare centers have carried out emergency medical operations for the victims of the last rains recorded in this region of the central part of the country. These operations took place in the primary schools of Arta and Wea and were conducted by the head doctor of the Medical Hospital Center of Arta, Dr. Yaqub Hussein. The population benefited from several health centers, including ophthalmology, gynecology, pediatric, and ENT. During these operations, mosquito nets were distributed and health workers carried out operations to destroy breeding sites as part of the vector control. Since the official launch of the ORSEC plan to rescue and assist our dear compatriots affected by the disasters caused by the heavy rains that have fallen on the Republic of Djibouti, the Coast Guard has always been on alert by mobilizing all its human and material resources on all fronts where the needs of our compatriots exist. More details with Didi Musa.
First, the Djiboutian Coast Guard immediately deployed the troop transport vehicles at its disposal in response to call of the Minister of the Interior to deploy the necessary means to assist the civilian population trapped in the city center to reach the community of Balbala. The next day, the Coast Guard under the leadership of Colonel Y.S. Omar Bagori massively invaded the districts under the 3rd District following instructions from the Orst Plan authorities. For 4 days, the Coast Guard provided all necessary humanitarian and medical assistance to the Hambuli district, Jebel City Progrès, in the city of Vietnam. Concern, stress, and emotion have been the daily life of the Coast Guard search and rescue teams, who have spent most of their time with their heads in the water and in the mud of the Umbuli Wadi in its junction. Thus, the diving team managed to save about 10 of the people killed by the wadi and to recover the bodies of the 4 individuals reported missing in the floods caused by the bad weather. An important delegation led by the Prime Minister, accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ministry of Housing, Environment and Rural Development, Minister of Women and the Family, and the Secretary General of the Prime Minister, came to inspect the progress of the rehabilitation operations conducted by the Coast Guard under the leadership of Colonel Wais Omar Bogore and with the recommendation of the Minister of Equipment and Transport. The Coast Guard Command shares the pain and suffering of the families who lost loved ones in this disaster and extends its deepest condolences to the families of the victims.
The President of the National Assembly of the Republic of Djibouti and current President of the African Parliamentary Union, Mohamed Ali Hamed, received today Mr. Mabel Memory, President of the Zimbabwe Senate. Following the 75th session of the Executive Committee and the 42nd Conference of Presidents, which propelled President Mohamed Ali Hamed, the head of the UPA, the Honorable Mabel Memory, congratulated the new president of the African Assemblies in person. During the exchange, the two presidents stressed the need to further strengthen the bonds of friendship and cooperation between the elected representatives of the people of the Republic of Djibouti and Zimbabwe. In addition, the Honorable Mabel Memory, who has been head of the UPA Committee of Women Parliamentarians for 2 years, asked the new president to support and strengthen gender promotion mechanism within the Pan-African institution. The President of the National Assembly as well received the advisor of the Parliamentary Assembly of Francophone Africa. The advisor to the Parliamentary Assembly of Francophone forwarded a message of congratulations from the President of the Assembly, Mr. Amadou Somahoro, and the Secretary General of the Parliament, Mr. Jack Grappel. The two sides discussed ways and means to strengthen relations between the APU and the Parliamentary Assembly of Francophone to broader horizons. The President of the Assembly, Mohamed Ali Hamed, met this morning in his cabinet the members of the Bureau of the National Assembly, the Secretary General of the Parliament, and his Director of Cabinet to review the current situation in the capital. Ahead of the meeting and under the leadership of the first Deputy Speaker of the Parliament, Elmi Opsie, the Bureau members congratulated President Mohamed Ali Hamed on his election as President of the African Parliamentary Union. In his turn, the President congratulated the parliamentarians who had individually acted to help the victims of the floods of these last days, which had caused human and material losses. He also praised the work of government members, the military and independent volunteers to help their compatriots by working hard throughout the week to provide some reliefs to the population in distress. Finally, he did not fail to thank the foreign forces stationed in Djibouti, which made a huge effort to evacuate the water that had stagnated in the capital's homes and neighbors. However, the President of the National Assembly asked the members of the Bureau and his colleagues to join in the spirit of solidarity that has already been established. The mediator of the Republic and President of the National Fiscal Conciliation Commission, Dr. Qasim Issa Ousmane, today handed over to each delegate of the mediator in the five interior regions the IT equipment with all its accessories and new furniture. The handing over of this equipment comes at a very appropriate time since before the end of this year, the mediator is preparing to celebrate the 20th anniversary of its institution. This equipment will allow them to do their work better and above all to communicate the decisions taken in a timely manner. During this presentation ceremony, the delegate of the regions in turn thanked the mediator of the Republic and indicated that they will make good use of these materials. In his speech, the mediator of the Republic stated that these facilities, these equipments will enable the recipients to carry out their various taxes and missions entrusted to them. In the morning of yesterday, the Youth Association of the Ali Sabih Chateau d'Eau, which was the first winner of the Grand Prize of the Head of State during the National and African Youth Day, was warmly welcomed by the Prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Aden Mikani, in the presence of the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Omar Ahmed Wais. The Prefect of the Ali Sabih region and the President of the Regional Council congratulated the Youth Association of the Ali Sabih Chateau d'Eau Association for their success at the Head of State's Grand Prize competition. It should be recalled that this youth association was created in 1994 and has nearly 50 active members and 6 charitable partners. They are very active in organized charitable and solidarity actions. The association intervenes in several fields such as educational development, sports, protection of the most disadvantaged people, and environmental protection. This year's Head of State's Grand Prize competition focused on youth in the service of the nation, supporting vulnerable groups. It is a theme that is fundamentally embedded in the association's DNA. The president of the Youth Association, Suleiman Ilmi Qayad, is delighted that the jury of the competition recognized the action at its true value. He also thanked the authorities of the region, in particular the prefect of his warm welcome. In world news, mass grave truck bodies of 39 victims were repatriated to Vietnam. More with Dini Musa.
The bodies of the 39 Vietnamese found dead in a refrigerated truck near London on 23 October were sent back this week. 16 of them had been already repatriated on Wednesday to the north-central part of the country this Saturday. The last 23 bodies arrived at Hanoi Airport, a local government official said. Among the victims was Anna Boy Tinang, a 19-year-old woman who had left Vietnam in search for a better life. Her journey had taken her to Russia, then Germany and Belgium, passing through Lithuania and Poland. Her goal was to join the United Kingdom, where her boyfriend was waiting for her. This tragedy highlighted the illegal trafficking of human beings from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Vietnamese police arrested 10 people suspected of having a connection to this case. On Monday, the British driver of the mass grave truck admitted to having played a leading role in this tragedy story by encouraging illegal immigration.
2 Italians swept away by an avalanche in Mont Blanc. More with Dini Musa.
Italians living in Chamonix died in Mont Blanc, swept away by an avalanche during an off-road trip. They were 28 and 32 years old, ski instructors and especially crazy about mountains and wide open spaces. They had taken the Skyway cable car from Italy to reach the Helbourne Point, more than 3,400 miles away, which had reopened for the season Saturday. 1.5 meters of snow has fallen in recent days in the Alpine, and another 50 centimeters of fresh snow on Friday, enough to please powdery snow lovers. But the activity is risky. Mountain professionals on site notified the rescue services. The bodies of the 2 skiers were sent back to Commières in Italy.
The London Bridge area is gradually recovering from Friday's knife attack. Details with Dini Musa.
The London Bridge area is gradually recovering from Friday's knife attack. Some of the residents are thinking of leaving the neighborhood, which had been hit twice by terrorism in just over 2 years. Despite the prevailing gloom, some people are seeing a surge of solidarity. Since Friday, the area has been closed, and the London Bridge is expected to remain closed as long as investigations continue. Police patrols will increase around the security cordon and throughout the British capital. Friday's attack killed 2 people. The attacker is a former prisoner already convicted of terrorism. The man, who had been on parole since December 2018, was shot dead by the police.
That's all for this news. Thank you for joining us on the radio television of Djibouti, and have a good night.